the function f is defined as f of x is log to the base 2 of 4x where x is greater than 0. Question A, find the value of f of 8. How to find f of 8? Just substituting 8 for x into f. So it becomes log to the base 2 of 4 times 8. It's log to the base 2 of 32, and just using definition of log to the base a of b is equal to c. Why? Because a to the power of c is equal to b. So here it is equal to something, so that 2 to what power is 32? It's 5, so it's 5. And f of 1 over 4, substituting 1 over 4 for x into f, it becomes log to the base 2 of 4 times 1 over 4 is equal to log to the base 2 of 1 is equal to something, so that 2 to what power is equal to 1? Any number to power of 0 is equal to 1, so it's 0. And log, it doesn't matter what base is, or 1 is always 0. Question B, find an expression for the inverse of f. To find the inverse, as usual, we what? Just interchange x and y. F, it's y, so it becomes x is log to the base 2 of 4y, and this new y should be found, and it's the required the inverse function. So we need just solve for y and undo this log just by definition. So it becomes 2 to the power of x is equal to 4y. 4y is 2 to the power of x, and y is 2 to the power of x over 4, and this y is the required expression for the inverse. So we can write that the inverse of f of x is equal to 2 to the power of x divided by 4. And then, hence, or otherwise, find the inverse of f of 0. Since the inverse is found, we can just substitute 0 for x into the inverse of f and we get that it becomes 2 to the power of 0 over 4. 2 to the power of 0 is 1, and over 4. So it's 1 over 4. If it's not required the inverse to be found, an expression for the inverse to be found, and you want to just calculate the value of the inverse at 0, you can state a question in terms of usual function, how it works. For the inverse, x is 0, y should be found, but for usual function it becomes y is 0, x should be found, and substituting 0 for y into usual function and calculating x, you can find the required y value for the inverse. And also remember that domain and range interchange each other if we say about function and its inverse. You can see that x is greater than 0, it's what? It's domain for usual function, and it becomes a range, y is greater than 0 for the inverse. And the next, the graph of y is f of 16x cubed can be obtained by translating and stretching of y is log to the base 2 of x. And question D, describe these two transformations, specifying the order in which they are to be applied. So we should consider f of 16x cubed, and substituting 16x cubed for x into f, we get that it becomes log to the base 2 of 4 times 16x cubed, which is log to the base 2 of 64x cubed, and we need to simplify it to understand clearly the required transformations. And we can see that it's a log over product, and formulas are given in the booklet, and we know that log over product is equal to the sum of two logs with the same basis. So it's log to the base 2 of 64 plus log to the base 2 of x cubed. And we can use another formula, and it can be rewritten as this log to the base 2 of x cubed can be rewritten as log to the base 2 of x and 3 in front. And this it's just a number, can be calculated. 2 to what power is 64? It's 6. And just a number I write as a last term. Why? Because to avoid mistakes, according to or due to this +6, it should be done as the last step of our transformations. Why? Because now it looks like 3, if we consider y to be log to the base 2 of x to be the starting function, and you can see it looks like 3 multiplied by a function, and it's what? It's just vertical stretch by a factor of 3 with x-axis invariant. It means that x-axis it's like an axis of symmetry. All points on x-axis remain the same, followed by vertical translation 6 units up. And if you do this as the first transformation, so if you do vertical translation 6 units up firstly, then vertical stretch by a factor of 3 will be with y is 6 instead of x-axis invariant. It means y is 6 is now an axis of symmetry. And to avoid mistakes, this plus minus a number at the end we do as the last transformation, this vertical translation. So we write the next. Vertical stretch by factor of 3 due to this 3 with x-axis invariant, followed by translation by a vector 0, 6, or just vertical translation 6 units up. And that's all for this question.